What's up, everybody? It is a beautiful spring day in the Chicagoland area, and we are live right here on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and everywhere else that you get your podcasts. Here's some celebrity birthdays for today, April 12th. If today is your birthday, like my friend Melissa King is celebrating hers, happy birthday to you. And here are some celebrities that share a birthday. Panic at the Disco's Brandon Urie is 37 today. Actress Jennifer Morrison turns 45. Al Bundy, Ed O'Neill, turns 78. Actress Claire Danes is 45. 90210's Brenda Walsh. Shannon Doherty turns 53 today. Even with cancer, God bless her, she is still going. Jesse James Decker, country music star, is 36. David Letterman, the big late night host, is 77. And Andy Garcia, one of my favorite actors, he turns 68 today. So if today is your birthday, happy birthday to all of you out there. And let's get on with this show. What a great show we got for you. We got some great sports talk, of course, NHL and NBA news. We've got some football stuff. We got WrestleMania results. Oh my God, what a night 1 and 2 that was. It was amazing, and we're going to talk about that. Then we got some great entertainment stuff to talk about today. The CMT Music Awards were last weekend. So I have the winners of that. We got the 30 most watched finales of all time, 10 box office bombs that became cult classics, and of course, my top 10. Today we're going to do family vacation spots since summer is just around the corner. We did spring break. Now let's get ready for summer because we've got summer coming just around the corner. It's already the middle of April. We are in full effect of spring. It's going to be in the 70s in the next week in the Chicagoland area and across the Midwest. And of course, it's already warm if you live farther down south and to the west. But yeah, so we are going to get this show started, and let's kick it off with the top NFL receivers in the draft. That's right, the draft is coming up in 2 weeks from yesterday. So we've got less than 2 weeks until we finally find out, will the Bears take Caleb Williams with the number 1 pick? Are they going to go for another quarterback? Obviously, they're not going wide receiver, and I don't think they're going to trade. There is rumors that the Bears had a chance to trade Washington. Now, this is just rumors. I don't know. I mean, it's been in a few different places, but nobody's really confirmed or denied it, especially in the Bears camp. But the trade was going to be Washington Commanders' number 2 pick for this year. They were going to swap their picks with us, and then a first-round pick for 25 and 26. Like I said, I mean, look, if you're set on Caleb Williams, then you're not going to make that trade. Okay, and this is why I can almost guarantee they're taking Caleb Williams. I mean, if you weren't going to take Caleb, then you'd say, okay, well, obviously you want Caleb, so we'll make that trade for you. And then we'll just take your draft picks, and then we'll go ahead and we'll draft Jaden Daniels or Drake May or Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, which I know that is not going to happen. I don't know what I wanted to happen. But like I said, I mean, if you knew you were going to not take Caleb Williams, why not take their draft picks away from them? Because let's say they take Caleb and he's not as good as he is on paper, then, again, we fleece another team like we did with Carolina. So I really believe that the Bears just know they're going to take Caleb Williams, and that's why they're not doing it. Caleb Williams did not take any dinners with any meetings with any other teams but the Bears. So that tells me that the Bears possibly have already told him that you're our guy. Just be ready. You're coming to Chicago. And he's already been with the Bears a few times since then. So he went out to dinner with, I believe, DJ Moore. He met with Keenan Allen. So, I mean, he's already met with the receivers. So I really believe that, honestly, they've already told him that he's going to be a Bear and just to get ready. It wouldn't surprise me if he's already looking at homes in Chicago in the area and stuff. So, yeah, definitely doing that. So let's go over the top receivers because the Bears do have 2 first-round picks this year. They have a number 1 and then they have the number 9. So, barring they don't trade the number 9 to try to get some draft capital because the Bears only have 4 picks in the draft, let's look at what receivers are out there and who I think the Bears will draft with number 9. Because I don't believe the Bears are going to go for an edge rusher in the top 9 unless like Dallas Turner was still there, and he won't be there because Atlanta's going to definitely scoop him up, so he'll be gone. So I believe that the Bears will be taking a wide receiver. Offensive lineman too. I believe that the Bears upgraded their offensive line, and they can still do it with more free agents that are still out there, and they still have money to spend. So yeah, if you're the Bears, you're most likely going to be going for a probably an edge rusher if you can get one, but definitely wide receiver. I believe that they may look into other rounds at what edge rushers are left, because if you want a rookie to go on the other side of Montez Sweat, there are a few decent ones out there. Next week, we are going to talk about the top draft picks. So the top 30 guys in all of it. So not just the wide receivers, not just the quarterbacks, but we're going to look over the top 30 receivers. Next Friday will be the last show before the draft, because I'm going to wait until the Friday after the draft to do like that show after the first round, because I want to like go over who the Bears and everyone took in the first round. I think, to me, the first round is the most important round in football. Yes, you can get diamonds in the rough in the second, third, fourth, fifth, seventh rounds, sixth round, whatever. Brady was like a 6th round pick, but it's not an all the time thing, and a lot of your big players do come out of the first round. So we'll talk about that. But next week we're going to go over the top 30 players in the nation. Today we're just doing wide receivers, just like last week we did quarterback. So here we go. Here is the top receivers in the NFL draft this year. And so we'll start from the last one, number 10, and we'll go from there and see who they're going to be. So number 10 on this list of the receivers is Jermaine Burton from Alabama. Burton brings a fiery approach to the position as long as his size doesn't cause him to be pushed around. He has elite quickness to win against press and off coverage at the next level as a flanker or slot. So you're looking at more of a slot receiver out of him, which right now the Bears are really looking for a slot receiver more than anything, because you already have Keenan Allen, and then you also have DJ Moore at 1 and 2. And then tight end wise, you've got Cole Kmet, and you also have Everett. So you're set in that. So all you Brock Bowers are coming to Chicago people, they're not drafting a tight end at number 9. It's just not going to happen. We don't need a tight end rookie right now. We have 2 very good players at tight end. There's no reason to waste a pick on another tight end. He likes a 2 receiver set, the offensive coordinator. He's got 2. We're good. In fact, we have 3 right now on the roster. So we're good there. This guy is ranked, big board rank of 52. Number 9 is Ricky Purcell from Florida. He's PFF big board rank number 49. Ultimately, Purcell won't intimidate defenders on the line of scrimmage, but he will once the ball is snapped. He is ready-made slot receiver who can contribute early in his NFL career. So, I mean, teams looking for slot receivers only, these are a couple of good picks right here. But for the Bears, I think they're really looking for a guy who's going to come in and play slot at first, but they want somebody who can move up into number 1 or 2 if there's an injury, or we don't know how long Keenan Allen's going to play for the Bears. He's only on a 1-year deal right now from his contract that he got traded on. So whether he decides to extend or not is where you're going to decide how you're going to use your rookie wide receiver with DJ Moore. DJ Moore's locked in for a few more years, but right now, Keenan Allen's not. And I'm hoping he does, because I would love to see him play maybe 3 or 4 years with the Bears along with DJ Moore, and then get your receiver who's still going to be on a rookie deal at that point to move up, because he's learned from 2 great receivers. This is how you have longevity in your career, and this is how you do it. Number 8, wide receiver Roman Wilson from Michigan. I know very well. I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan. In a different receiver class, Wilson would be much higher on these rankings. He not only brings NFL-level speed, but also NFL-level determination at the catch point and when blocking. His tape shows a player coaches would love to have. Now, like I said, if the Bears decide to trade this pick, number 9, and just go with somewhere else, there's rumors they might try to trade down and get to the number 4 slot or number 5 to try to pick up a top 3 receiver. If not, I would take somebody like Roman Wilson. Right now, you're looking for a slot receiver. If the Bears' deal is to try to keep Keenan Allen and DJ Moore together after this year, if they do good together, you don't need a superstar receiver. If you're planning on just saying, okay, we're going to try to lock Keenan Allen in for a couple of years, we want to mold the next receiver, then yeah, you're going to go after one of the big three. I feel we need the big three, but if we can't get them, and we just decide to get more draft capital and trade, I'm okay with that, because you could get a Roman Wilson. Number 7 is wide receiver Troy Franklin out of Oregon. He's big board ranked 40. Franklin might get lost in the shuffle of a loaded wide receiver class, but he shouldn't. His smoothness comes from his athletic profile and his confidence in knowing how to win at the position. He needs to continue to get stronger, but overall is a competitive player who could be a good wide receiver too for a vertical NFL offense. And that's the thing, a lot of these guys aren't going to come in necessarily ready to be starters right away. So some might have to bulk up. And that'll happen. I mean, how many times have you watched any sport and saw skinny guys coming in as rookies, and then 3-4 years in, they're big and bulky? Because that's what they do. They're training in college for a totally different game than they do when they get in the pros. So it's a lot different. Number 6 is wide receiver Ladd McConkey from Georgia. Don't expect McConkey to be an X-jump ball receiver, but outside of that, it's hard to imagine him not succeeding in the NFL. His game is reminiscent of Eddie Royal. Maybe not as fast with long speed, but he has devastating quickness, is good in the return game, and a strong blocker for his size. So he may be somebody that you would take later rounds and have a receiver that could be maybe a 4 or 5 slot receiver, and then you get him for special teams. So that could be a thing too. Maybe he doesn't make it out of the draft, and then somebody just picks him up as an unsigned draft pick. So yeah, there's ways to do that. Number 5 is Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. PFF big board rank of 30. Mitchell's fluidity at his size makes him a tough matchup, especially in the red zone. Biggest area of concern is that they wish he attacked the ball more when he was in the air. If he improves in that category, he has fringe wide receiver 1-2 capabilities. That is something you got to work on. You have to fight for the ball, because if you just jump up and get lazy with it, or you don't jump hardly at all and just let the guy intercept you, you're not going to make it in the league long. So yeah, if you work on something like that, you might be good. All right, so here we go with the top 4. You got Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU, PFF board rank of 27. Thomas offers a good combination of size and speed to push the ball vertically down the sideline. Demanding safety stay rotated to his side to truly unlock the kind of threat he needs to show. He can consistently beat press coverage. So with him, okay, there you go. A good combination of size and speed. He's got a few things to work on. I feel that all these guys will have something to work on when they get in the pros. But there you go. Brian Thomas Jr., possibility in the later part of the draft if the Bears decide to go with the route of trading the number 9 pick. Let's see. Here's the top 3 now. These are the guys that I really want. Okay, any of these 3, I'll be happy if we stay at number 9 and we don't get an edge rusher. I'm not as worried about an offensive tackle. I feel there's still going to be free agents. And don't forget, in the preseason, too, not everybody makes it. But that doesn't mean they're not good. That just means that they didn't fit in with that team. If they fit with our scheme, you could still pick them up in the preseason. So, there's a lot of things. People need to pump the brakes a little bit. Chicago fans, the reason we're the laughing stock of the league is because we don't go for the long build. We try to do everything now. But not everything has to be done this second. You have next year too. This year is going to be a rookie quarterback with a possible rookie receiver, a brand new receiver who's here, and one who's only been here a couple seasons and now is on a second offensive coordinator already. So, yeah, we can pump the brakes a little bit. We're not going to the Super Bowl this year. We just need to get maybe 10 or 11 wins, and we'll be a lot better. And then we can build from there, because we'll have money next year. We'll have draft picks next year. So pump the brakes a little, Bears fans, because a lot of you don't know what you're talking about, and you can't hold a candle to most of us real Bears fans who know what we're talking about. So here we go. Number 3, Rome Odunze, Washington. PFF Big Board rank of 6. In an offense filled with the future NFL players at the skill positions, Odunze was the best of the bunch. If he weren't in a class with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers, we would be talking about him as an easy wide receiver 1 and a player worthy of top 10 pick, although the latter is still true for 2024. He's definitely going in the top 10. Okay, depending now on how many teams need a wide receiver. And like I said, I made a list of this a few weeks ago. You can go listen to a couple of weeks ago on the show. I talked about the top 10 of where I thought players were going to be. I can run through that really quick after this too. But there, at least one or two of these receivers should be there at number 9 for the Bears. Number 2, wide receiver Malik Nabers out of LSU. Big board rank of 4. Nabers' movement skills are rare, even at the NFL level. His ability to change direction yet continue to accelerate makes him an open target specialist in the slot and on the outside. He has the kind of athleticism that demands a defense to know where he is at all times as a future wide receiver 1. Now notice they said future. He's not going to be, unless he goes to a team that really needs a 1 or 2 receiver, then maybe. You go to a team like the Bears that already have that, you're going to be a slot receiver, and you're going to learn from those 2 number 1 and 2s what to do in the league, which is what the Bears need to do. They have 2 great receivers, 1,200 and 1,300 yard receivers that can teach this guy exactly what he needs to do. And that goes for Marvin Harrison Jr. too. Don't think because your dad was Marvin Harrison that you're going to just walk in and just own the team. That's not how it works. You're not the quarterback, and you're not going to just walk in and feel that way, especially if you go to a team that already has established wide receivers but are looking towards the future of a new crop of them. There you go. So, yeah, I would definitely love a Malik Nabers or Rome Odunze, but here we go. Number 1, Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State. Harrison comes from Hall of Fame bloodlines, and you can see that in his tape without even knowing his last name. He has a true rare blend of size, speed, strength, and football IQ for such a young player. He will be a caliber wide receiver 1 player the day he's drafted, and one in the mold of a tier 1 NFL wideout. This is why I don't feel the Bears are going to end up with him. And I don't think the Bears necessarily are aiming for him right now because of that. You know, if you get Rome Odunze or you get Malik Nabers, you're going to have a future number 1 or number 2 receiver with them. So the thing is, you don't need Marvin Harrison Jr. walking in right away and thinking he's going to be number 1. You think they're going to bump DJ Moore? You think they're going to bump Keenan Allen after the seasons they had last year? Not going to happen. So, yeah, I think he would fit in more with Arizona at number 4. So I think Arizona would be smart to just keep that number 4 slot and take Marvin Harrison Jr. Look, you have Kyler Murray. You need a receiver for him. And why not get one of the best receivers in the league or in the college league to come in and be that number 1 guy for you right off the bat? Because he can be. And he most likely will be, and that's fine. I mean, like I said, here's the NFL draft top 10 that I did, a little mock draft, if you will, of the top 10. I put, of course, Bears at number 1 with Caleb Williams, Washington number 2 with Jaden Daniels, and number 3, New England with Drake May. Arizona Cardinals, I put them at wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. because I feel they'll take him over everybody else. Chargers, I put them at Joe Alt. New York, I put a possible trade with Minnesota if they want to move up and get a quarterback, and I think they would pick J.J. McCarthy. Now, the Giants most likely, in my book, are going to go with a wide receiver. And I don't think they're going to trade that pick. And I believe Minnesota's going after a veteran quarterback now. So I don't think they're going to want a rookie in there. So I think they're going to stay where they're at. So if that happens and New York does end up going wide receiver, he's going to either get Rome Odunze or they're going to get Malik Nabers. One of the two. Number 7 is the Tennessee Titans. I think that they get Olu Fashanu. I think he ends up going there. They need an offensive tackle, so that makes sense. Number 8, the Atlanta Falcons do not need a quarterback. They don't need a wide receiver, and they don't need an offensive lineman. They need an edge rusher. Probably as bad, if not worse, than the Bears would do for another one. So I think they'll go after Dallas Turner, and that would leave, if the Giants don't make the trade or trade anybody, then they'll either get Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors, whoever's left. So yeah, it just depends. Like I said, next week we'll go over the top 30 players in the nation and see where all them rank and where they're going to go. And maybe I'll find a mock draft and we'll laugh at it. I'll tell you now, I did find something that everyone's going to laugh at later. And it's not. This is not NFL related at all. So we'll see what happens. I did want to go over last year's. Now here we go. And this is why I tell people, it's not always about the best people in the league. Okay? It's not always like that. Here's what I found. And this is crazy. People are going to be like, this is nuts. These were the top 5 draft picks last year for the NFL. And it's funny because a lot of people don't understand. Like, everybody thinks, oh, well, you know, the best quarterback in the nation is the one everybody should get because he's going to be the best. Yeah, well, last year, here were the top 5 picks. Bryce Young was the number 1 quarterback in the nation last year. Okay? He wasn't number 2, wasn't ranked number 3. He was ranked where Caleb Williams is number 1. Here we go. Bryce Young's stats last year. 315 completions for 527 yards, 2,877 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions for the Carolina Panthers. Remember, they traded the Bears for that pick. Gave us DJ Moore, their number 1 for their first round pick for this year, which ended up being number 1, and I believe a few other picks to go with it. And they got a guy who threw less than 3,000 yards and 11 touchdowns and 10 picks for the entire year as a starter. That is terrible. Now, number 2, the Houston Texans. They got the number 2 and 3 pick in the draft last year. And look at this. They took C.J. Stroud, who wasn't ranked number 1. Listen to his stats. 319 yards, or 319 completions out of 499 passes, 4,108 yards in his first year, 23 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Think about that. When you say that the Bears have to draft Caleb Williams, not saying that they shouldn't, not saying that they should, but this just shows right here. It's not always the number 1 quarterback in the nation that does great. So for the ones out there saying, oh, Jaden Daniels, this and that, he could be C.J. Stroud. Maybe he won't be. But you can't fault the Bears if they look at it that way. Because the number 1 in the nation isn't always the number 1 in the nation. Remember, Mitch Trubisky was ranked to be better than Patrick Mahomes and Watson. Think about that. The Bears ended up with Trubisky at number 2. So, you know, like I said, we're not always, you're not always going to be right, and you're not always going to be wrong. But the point is, sometimes you do need to really look and say, is the guy who we think is the guy, is he really going to be that guy? Number 3 was Will Anderson Jr., linebacker. 29 tackles, 16 assisted, and 7 sacks, and 0 interceptions. Number 4 was QB Anthony Richardson. 50-84. Obviously, he was not a starter for the Colts last year. 577 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And number 5 was cornerback Devin Witherspoon, who had 56 tackles, 23 assisted, 3 sacks, and 1 interception last year. So, you know, let's just say not every quarterback. Now, could Bryce Young bounce back this year and be better? Of course. You know, that could definitely happen. Will it happen is another thing. So, yeah, let's just put the little baby bye-bye shit to bed. It's not always going to be the number 1 quarterback in the nation. Isn't always going to be the best quarterback in the nation. So yesterday we released a list of the NFL draft presented by Bud Light attendees of what college players were invited to the draft and accepted the invitation already. So here's the list of players who are going to be at the draft. So if they get their name called, they can actually go up to the podium. Taron Arnold, Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr. These are the ones who are attending. They were invited and accepted. J.C. Latham, Lua Latu, I don't even know, Laha Latu, We'll leave that to the Hawaiian people to know how to say that name. I'm sorry if I destroyed it. Drake May, Quinnen Mitchell, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, Darius Robinson, Brian Thomas Jr., Dallas Turner, and Caleb Williams have all accepted the invitation. They will all be at the NFL draft in attendance. So when their name gets called, they will hold up their hat and I believe they get like a jersey and everything to hold up and all that. But yeah, so it's going to be, oh no, that's at the press conference. There they'll just put on the hat and maybe say a few things. But yeah, so we're excited to see where the Bears going to fall. They're already number 1 and number 9. Will they trade any of their picks? I doubt they trade number 1. I think we already know that it's going to be Caleb Williams, could be Jaden Daniels, could be Drake May. I doubt it. I'm hoping if we do any of the two, it will be either Caleb or Jaden Daniels. I don't feel Drake May is going to be that guy in Chicago. I think we've tried that with Trubisky and it didn't work. Let's go a different way. And I'm not saying white and black, but I'm just saying that we haven't had great success with white guy quarterbacks in the NFL, except for maybe Jim McMahon, and that was because Walter Payton was there to back him up and a very good defense. So I would not say we've had a lot of luck with white quarterbacks. Okay, so I would say we go after either Caleb or Jaden Daniels, get one of them in here, and we should be rocking and rolling. So hopefully one of them is going to be wearing a Bears hat come the draft, and hopefully so will Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors, or Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, when I said earlier we don't really need a Marvin Harrison Jr., don't take that as I don't want him here. It's just I feel he would be a better number 1 or number 2 receiver, and I don't think he's going to be that just walking into the Bears. Not with what we picked up in the offseason. So I don't believe that they need a necessarily day 1 wide receiver 1 or 2. We need somebody who can be that guy when it's time. And it's not going to be time yet. Unless Keenan Allen completely craps the bed here. I don't foresee DJ Moore doing that. He's been here this season or last season and he played great. I don't foresee that happening. But you never know. With a new quarterback and not being Justin Fields, who knows what's going to happen. So, they might bring a rookie in and see what happens. So we'll see. But yeah. Really quick, before we go into the wrestling, because that's going to take a little time, let's go over the NHL and NBA standings. We have 1 weekend left. That's right. Play-in tournament starts Tuesday. This is the last weekend for the NBA and NHL regular season. And, man, I'm telling you, it's been a great season for a lot of these teams. Let's start with the NHL first and see where their standings are going into the last weekend of the season for them. And let's kick it off right here. Okay, so we'll start with each conference. Let's go with the East first. Okay, so right now, number 1 and clinched a playoff spot is the New York Rangers at 110 points. I'm not going to go into the records and everything. We'll just go into the points. We'll do records for the NBA because they don't go based on points. Number 2, Carolina, clinched a playoff spot with 107 points. Number 3 is the Boston Bruins. They clinched a playoff spot with 107 points also. The Florida Panthers, right? Clinched a playoff spot, 106 points, coming in at number 4. Number 5, the Toronto Maple Leafs, 101 points, clinched a playoff spot. The Tampa Bay Lightning coming in at number, 6, at 96 points. Number 7, the New York Islanders have not clinched yet, bar at 89 points right now. Pittsburgh, the Penguins at number 8, 86 points, have not clinched a playoff spot yet either. Teams still in the hunt for the last couple of spots are Washington. They have 85 points. Detroit Red Wings are sitting at 85 points, and so is Philadelphia Flyers at 85 points. Eliminated is New Jersey with 81, Buffalo with 81, Ottawa with 74, Montreal with 73, and the Columbus Blue Jackets are sitting in last place in the East with 64 points. That's really bad. All right, so now let's move on to the Western Conference. Number 1, Dallas. They clinched a playoff spot with 109. Vancouver is number 2 with 105. Number 3 is Winnipeg with 104. Number 4 is Colorado with 104. Number 5 is Edmonton with 101. They clinched a playoff spot too. Nashville clinched a playoff spot at 95 points at number, looks like 6. Number 7 is LA, clinched a spot at 95 points. And now there's 2 teams fighting it out for that last spot in the West, and that is the Vegas Golden Knights at 92 points and St. Louis at 89. So for the last playoff spot, they're fighting it out with each other. We'll see what happens. Eliminated is Minnesota with 83. The Seattle Kraken with 79. Calgary with 75. Arizona with 73. Anaheim with 57, the Chicago Blackhawks with 51, and the San Jose Sharks have the worst record in the entire NHL right now with 47 points. Blackhawks actually are the second worst team, with 51 points. That's right. The worst 3 teams in the league are all in the West. And at the bottom, San Jose, Chicago, and Anaheim, 47, 51, and 57. In the East, it's Columbus Blue Jackets with 64. So, yeah, Chicago really struggling there. Hoping that, we get the number 1 pick again. Maybe we get another superstar to go on the side of Connor Bedard. Hopefully they pull some magic like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews did when they came to Chicago back-to-back years in the draft. And hopefully we'll have that. We'll see. But right now, we'll see what happens for next year. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, I hope that we do good. Okay, so here we go. In the NBA, we'll start off, let's start off with the Western Conference there. The number 1 team clinching a playoff spot, Denver. The Nuggets are 56 and 24. Minnesota coming in at number 2, 1 game back, 55 and 25. Number 3 is the Oklahoma City Thunder, who clinched a playoff spot, 55 and 25 also, 1 game behind. Number 4 is the LA Clippers at 51 and 29, they're 5 games back from first, but clinched a playoff spot. Number 5 is Dallas with 2 games left. They have clinched, what is the Y? Their division. So they clinched their division just like the Clippers did. And right now they are at 50 and 30. Not bad. 6 games back. The number 6 seed right now hasn't clinched yet, but it is 48 and 32 and 8 games back, and that's New Orleans. And here we go with the play-in teams. I'm going to see what PB stands for. Hold on. Because I've never seen that one before. So let's see in the glossary. PB is clinch play-in berth. Okay. Just making sure. I was pretty much sure, but I wasn't sure exactly. Number 7 right now is Phoenix. They have not clinched anything yet because they still have a chance at the number 6 spot with New Orleans. So they're not out yet. So let's see. They're number 7 at 47 and 33. Clinched the playoff berth for the play-in tournament. Number 8, Sacramento at 45 and 35. Golden State at 45 and 35 is clinched also, and so is the LA Lakers at 45 and 35. Now, they haven't clinched home court advantage for the play-in tournament yet. I believe that number 7 and number 9 have they get that clinched. And they get home court advantage for that game because the Bulls just did that last night. We'll go over that in a second. Eliminated is Houston at 39 and 41, Utah at 30 and 50, Memphis at 27 and 53, Portland at 21 and 59, and San Antonio at 20 and 60. Notice there's only 2 games left. I believe Sunday is the last game of the season for all the teams, or it's Sunday or Monday. Okay, so let's go over the East now. Number 1 has already clinched the best record in the entire league, and that is, of course, the Boston Celtics. They are 62 and 18 for the year so far, with a couple games left. At number 1. Number 2 is the Milwaukee Bucks, clinched a playoff spot, 49 and 31. That's crazy. Milwaukee is 13 games out of first place. That's nuts. Boston ran with it. That's why I'm calling possibly Boston. We'll go over that next week. I'll be doing a show Thursday. I gotta see when the playoffs start because I believe it's Thursday. Thursday or Friday. So I'll be giving my predictions there. Milwaukee, I already went over. New York is number 3 right now in the league at 48 and 32. Clinched the playoff spot. Number 4 is the Cleveland Cavs at number 4, 47 and 33. Have not clinched the playoff spot yet with 2 games left. Same with Orlando at number 5, 46 and 34. And Indiana Pacers, 46 and 34. Have not clinched the spot yet. And number 6. Number 7 for the play-in tournament right now would be Philadelphia at 45 and 35. Miami at 44 and 36. Now, the reason they haven't clinched a play-in tournament spot yet is because they still have a shot with 2 games left at the number 6 spot with Indiana. They're only 2 games out, so they're still in for that. So number 8 would be Miami. Number 9 clinched not only the playoff play-in spot, but they also clinched home court advantage for it, is the Chicago Bulls. They will play the Atlanta Hawks at number 10, who are 36 and 44 right now. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Bulls will win the play-in tournament and get in. I would love to see them at least make the playoffs this year. So there's your NHL and NBA standings. Next week I will be going over the NHL and NBA playoffs. By then we should know or get close to what's going on with that. So we'll be talking about that next. Alright, now that we're done with that, let's get to the big story of the week. WrestleMania. That's right, for all you wrestling fans like me, it was an exciting night 1 and night 2. It kicked off, of course, with SmackDown in the Hall of Fame on Friday night. The Hall of Fame was great. Paul Heyman dropping F-bombs made me just tingle inside. I loved it. I'm a Paul Heyman guy. It was great seeing him being inducted. SmackDown was really good. Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner. That was cool. It was Bronson Reed. Very cool. He hope he gets a push from this. I'm hoping that Triple H treats the Andre the Giant Battle Royal different than Vince McMahon did. Vince McMahon just did it to throw wrestlers who didn't make the card into something that weekend so they could say they did something. At the same time, it should mean something, but just getting a giant Andre the Giant trophy, okay, that should push you. Like, they should push you after that. They gave it to Cesaro. They gave it to a lot of people. That should be your push into something bigger. Even if it's Intercontinental, it doesn't have to be the world title. It's not the Money in the Bank briefcase. This is something that should push them into, like, an Intercontinental title match or U.S. title match. Something where they get something out of it. That's how I feel about that. But let's go into the results from WrestleMania, because Night 1 and 2 was so exciting, and I actually did really well on it, actually. It's crazy, so let's go over it. Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. Awesome match. I heard that Becky Lynch was fighting strep throat at 102 fever the week of WrestleMania, but still came out, even though she was probably drained from being that sick, and had an awesome match. She ended up losing to Rhea Ripley. I picked Rhea Ripley in that match, so I was 1-0. The second match of the night was the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line in a 6-pack match. I picked 1 out of the 2 right on this one. I didn't pick which titles they were going to get. I just knew that they were going to break them up. So the Raw Tag Team titles went to Miz and R-Truth. I picked them. And then the SmackDown titles, I picked DIY. It ended up going to A-Town Down Under. I'm fine with that. But it was a great match all around. Great spots. People went through tables. People went into, like, just diving off ladders into stuff. It was an awesome match. Great second match of the night. Kept the momentum going after the Rhea Ripley match. Awesome job. Rey Mysterio. Obviously, everybody saw that he did not have a tag team partner going into that match because his tag team partner got hurt. Andrade stepped up. Now, I was a little leery about this match. I thought I was going to lose because I thought Andrade was going to turn or Carlito was going to turn and Rey Mysterio was going to lose to Dominic and Santos Escobar. He ended up winning. They ended up winning the match, Rey and Andrade. I was right on that one too. That was the third match of the night. Decent match. It gave what it needed to. You know, a lot of luchador, high-flying stuff out of Rey. Dominic getting booed by the crowd like he always does. Put on a decent show. Very good match. You know, wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was middle of the road. Good job by Rey and Andrade, so I was right on that one. Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. This match to me was a little lackluster. I was expecting more than just a bunch of super kicks. I was hoping to see a bunch of high-flying stuff out of both of them. I didn't see that. It just, to me, didn't have the feel that I was hoping for out of it. I really thought this was going to steal the show, but it actually didn't. I was hoping Rikishi would come down. He didn't. He was there. He was at the Hall of Fame on Friday. Maybe he didn't want to get involved because he didn't want it about him being there. But I still think he had a reason to be there. He was the father of both of them. So you would think he would have came down and either been a referee or maybe got involved somehow. Even at the end of the match, he didn't come down. So, yeah, it was very lackluster. I did pick the winner. I picked Jey Uso in that one. But, yeah, not great. Jade, Bianca, and Naomi taking on Damage Control. Good match. Jade did her thing. She showed she could hang with the women wrestlers. I picked the winner of that. Jade, Bianca, and Naomi did what it had to do. Got the crowd excited. Really good entrance by Jade Cargill. So, yeah, good show out of them. Actually, hold on. Oh, okay, I was wrong on this one. Sami Zayn and Gunther. I thought Gunther was going to win. I didn't think Sami had a chance. I didn't think they were going to take the title off of him at 666 days. But I'm excited and happy for it. Sami Zayn with the win. Nice job by him. Awesome match. I like how Gunther went out there and he did his thing. And he got in the wife's face and, oh, look at your husband. It was great storytelling. And it ended up being his downfall. Sami Zayn with the win. Awesome feel-good moment going into the main event. Yeah, very good. I liked it. Sami Zayn, I lost that one. I picked Gunther to win that. And then, of course, the big main event, The Rock and Roman Reigns taking on Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. If Cody and Seth would have won, there would have been no interference in the match between Cody and Roman. If Rock and Roman won, Bloodline rules. Everybody knew this was going to happen. Bloodline rules. We all knew The Rock and Roman would win. We did not think it was going to be a 44-minute match, and it was. And that wasn't even with the entrances. That was without entrances. So it was a good back-and-forth match. The Rock got the pin, showing Cody that he's the final boss. And it was good. I enjoyed the entire match. It was awesome. The right team won. Triple H did right in night one. It was a little lackluster night one, and a lot of people were complaining about that, but night two did not disappoint. We'll go into that in a second. But I did get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 out of 7 right. So not too bad. I did pretty good in that one. Only things I got wrong was Sami Zayn and then half of the tag team champions. Okay, so WrestleMania night 2. Everybody was, excited. Night 1 was okay. Like I said, a little lackluster, but it was doable. A lot of people probably ranked it a 6 or a 7. Not horrible. But night 2 started off with a bang. Drew McIntyre, CM Punk came out before the match even started, went to the announce table. He got the crowd all hyped up and ready to go. Drew McIntyre had a cool entrance. And then, of course, Seth Rollins, just like always, wearing the crazy stuff. Seth and Drew put on an awesome match. Great match. Drew McIntyre gets his WrestleMania moment. I knew this was going to happen. I picked Drew McIntyre for the win. I knew he was going to beat Seth. He had an awesome moment with the crowd on his knees. He handed the title to his wife. She was happy and excited. But now came the downfall. He went up to CM Punk. That's fine. Put it in his face a couple times. Show him what he can go after if he ever comes back from his injury. Show him what he could have had he not gotten hurt by him. Great storytelling. Stayed too long. Rubbed it in too long. CM Punk did what anybody would do. Grabbed him by the leg, pulled him down on the table, and beat the crap out of him. Then what happens? Everybody knew this was going to happen. I called it as soon as this happened. Here comes Damian Priest running down with his Money in the Bank briefcase. CM Punk with a big smile on his face. He came around, nailed Drew McIntyre with the briefcase right in his head, threw him in the ring, cashed in, and Damian Priest is your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, I somewhat called that. Not all the way, but I somewhat did. I did say there was a possibility, but I didn't want to say for sure that it was going to happen. But I'm still taking the credit for Drew because he did beat Seth Rollins. I don't feel the cash-ins are necessarily a big win. You could count it if you guess it, but if you don't, I don't fault people for that. Because as long as the person that you called left with the title, Drew McIntyre was still champion for that 5 minutes. He will be on the record books as the champion. And then Damian Priest will be on the record books for being the next champion. So, yeah, he is still champion. So I did get the win for that. I wish I would have called the cash-in. I kind of thought maybe, but I was like, I don't know. Drew's going to get his moment for a while. I didn't think they were going to cash it in. I thought maybe him and Finn would get into it. Maybe Finn was going to run down with them, kind of like Bayley did with Io Sky back in the day, and he didn't. It was Drew by himself, Damian by himself. So, yeah, that's it. Damian Priest is the new World Heavyweight Champion. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus Karrion Kross and AOP. It was okay. It was the second match of the night. Didn't have to be great. There was no reason to really hype the crowd up more because they were very hyped up from Drew and Damian winning in the same night and within 5 minutes of each other. Match did what it was supposed to. I guessed it right. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits won. It was okay. Little bit of a brawl, that's all. Not a big deal. Next match got the crowd going again. AJ Styles and LA Knight. And I guessed right. It was my man, LA Knight. Yeah, with the big win. I hope this propels him back into the main event scene. It's a little different scene, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and Kevin Owens for the U.S. title. Match was awesome. I love watching Kevin Owens and Randy Orton beat the crap out of them. The entrances were hilarious because Logan Paul came down on a prime thing, and then Kevin Owens went back and got the golf cart, pulled halfway down the ramp. Randy Orton's music hit. He backed up with his golf cart, picked up Randy Orton. They drove down together. It was cool. It was funny to watch the camaraderie between the two. But at one point in the match, it came down to Logan Paul was on his back. Somebody had to go for the cover. They both went for the cover. That made them turn on each other. Still friends, though. Logan Paul, I knew was going to win. I didn't think they were going to take the title off of him. That, I think, was the WWE giving him his flowers, beating two great former world champions like that. So, yeah, I was happy with Logan Paul winning. I guessed it right. Bayley and Io Sky, no major interference in the match. It was a good match, straight through. Two of them put on a show. Bayley got her moment. I love it. I'm a huge Bayley fan. I'm glad she won that. She deserves it. Now she's a good guy again. Kind of wish she would go back to her happy music now. That song she's got now, kind of a heel song. I think she should go back to her old stuff. Maybe not necessarily with the big, like, blowy things in the air, but, you know, maybe her old song with some pyro or something. It'd be cool. We'll see what she does tonight on SmackDown. I'm sure she'll come out. And then the main event, Bloodline Rules, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Awesome match. Great entrances. I love seeing Cody come down with the skull mask on and then Randy with him. Gave him a kiss on top of the ramp. Took the mask for him. She left and he went down to the ring. Awesome. Roman having the band with him, doing his song. Awesome. Cool way to do it. He went to the ring. Awesome match, back and forth. Roman put on a good show with Cody. The two of them were amazing. Then, of course, we knew this was going to happen. Bloodline Rules. You would have thought the entire crew would have came down with them at first, but they didn't. They let them wrestle for a little while together. Cody was going to go for Crossroads, and then, of course, Jimmy Uso comes down first. Super kicks him. Roman's, did his thing. All of a sudden, here comes Jey Uso. His music hits. Jimmy runs down the ramp. They fight on the ramp. Their less than 2-minute fight on the ramp was better than their match. Their entire match together in night one. It was cool with the super kick and then the spear off of the ramp into a table. That made the whole weekend for Jey and Jimmy Uso. That was better than their match. Now, I'm hoping Jey and Jimmy might do another match together. Who knows? And maybe this one will be better. Maybe WrestleMania Backlash. I don't think they're done yet. Maybe Rikishi gets involved in one of those. Now, Cody and Roman go at it again. Cody's about to get him again. Cody kind of gave it away that someone was coming down because he was looking around. So he was waiting. He knew it was going to happen. He was looking around. Here comes Solo into the ring. Samoan spike to the throat. He tells Roman, come on, get him, beat him, beat him. And Roman's like, I know. It was great. It was cool. It was funny watching the two of them interact with each other. Then all of a sudden, what happens? John Cena's music hits. John Cena comes down to the ring, beats up Solo, beats up Roman, gives him an AA in the ring, and then boom. About to pin him. He was about to put Cody on him. What happens now? The Rock's music hits. Rock's music hits. He comes walking to the ring, gets into the ring, goes face to face with John Cena. They do the one looks left into the crowd, one looks right. And then they cheer. Then they do the other side. They switch sides and look at the other side. Cena does his "You Can't See Me." Goes to punch the Rock. Rock bottoms him in the ring. Cena rolls out. Rock stands there. He gets his Cody belt off his Mama Rhodes belt. He's about to beat Cody. All of a sudden, we hear the gong. Here comes the dead man, The Undertaker. That was awesome. Undertaker, I would have loved to see Stone Cold in that time. But I love The Undertaker because The Rock calls himself the final boss, but the final boss of WrestleMania is not The Rock. It's The Undertaker. Nobody's had a streak like The Undertaker, nor I think will anybody have a streak ever like The Undertaker did. He's the final boss when it comes to WrestleMania. He comes out, lights go out, Rock is in the ring looking around, lights go out, lights come back up, Undertaker standing behind him. You hear Heyman saying, Rock, behind you. The Rock looks at him and says, what? He turns around, there's the Undertaker giving him that look. The Rock goes to hit him with the Mama Rhodes belt. Undertaker gives him a choke slam. Music hits again, lights go out, come back up, Undertaker's gone. Rock is gone too, he was like outside of the ring. That is just Cody and Roman. Again, just Cody and Roman. Then you hear the Shield music go off. Here comes Cody into the ring. Oh wait, no, you know what? I messed that up. Cody came out before The Undertaker, because The Rock, after beating up Cena, then Seth Rollins comes out. The Rock hit him with a chair, or Roman hit him with a chair to get him out of the ring. Then The Undertaker came out, got The Rock, and then after that, Roman standing up in the middle of the ring. He has the chair in his hand again, and he's looking at Cody with it. And then everybody who grew up with the Shield or saw the Shield knows the betrayal that Seth Rollins did to Roman and Dean Ambrose. And if everybody, when Seth Rollins' music hit, if people didn't think Dean Ambrose was coming out with Seth, I think everybody just was like, what? And people were looking around like crazy. I was hoping Dean Ambrose would be there with him. Or, obviously, everybody that's an AEW fan knows him as Moxley. But he didn't come out. Roman stood there with a chair, looked at Seth, and instead of going for Cody, he nailed Seth again with the chair from behind, just like Seth did. That was a 10-year revenge. That's long-term storytelling for you. Seth Rollins in Shield gear, getting hit by Roman from behind with a chair just like he did to him, that was amazing. And that's how you do it. After he dropped the thing, after he dropped the chair, he went to do his spear on Cody, thinking it was over. Cody kicks him in the face, turns him around, 3 crossroads in a row, and let the tears flow. Cody Rhodes finished the story. Cody Rhodes did it for his dad, did it for his brother, did it for his sister, and for everybody else in the Rhodes family. For Mama Rhodes and everybody. For his wife Brandy, and for all the fans. Great moment. I even had a little tear for Dusty because I grew up a big Dusty Rhodes fan. So for me, that was like the best ending to a WrestleMania. It was great. I loved it. I think everybody loved it too. Obviously there were some Roman fans who obviously probably weren't happy about that, but at the same time, look, not everybody you want to win is going to win. So sometimes you just got to go with it. But yeah, Cody winning, feel good moment of the year. I think that's going to win moment of the year. And I loved it. So yeah, Cody Rhodes. The next night on Raw, Cody came down, of course. Triple H came down to thank the fans. The fans thanked him for a great weekend in Philly. Cody came down. The Rock came out after him, told him he had to go away for a little while. Obviously, The Rock is going to film his new movie, so he'll be gone for a little bit. But he did tell Cody, when he comes back, he wants a shot at him. He said, your and Roman's story is finished. Ours is just beginning. I love it. Let's do it. SummerSlam. They're saying possibly Cody and The Rock at WrestleMania. I think that's too far away. I would love to see The Rock and Cody happen at SummerSlam because I want to see The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. I think that the perfect storyline for this is Cody wins at SummerSlam and defeats The Rock. The Rock doesn't care if Cody has the title or not. He already said it. But The Rock did do this awkward thing that people thought was awkward of wanting to hold Cody's title. The reason The Rock did that is because when The Rock unveiled a brand new belt after he won the last one, he unveiled the belt. And Cody came down while he was unveiling that belt and said, that belt is not going to be synonymous with The Rock. It's going to be synonymous with Cody Rhodes. And so The Rock paid him back for that moment and said, I've never held that belt. I'd like to try to hold that belt. And he did. He held the belt. But yeah, he did challenge Cody to when he comes back. It's going to be good. I think everyone's going to be excited for it. But yeah, so I'm excited for it too. Rock and Cody, I hope it happens at SummerSlam. I hope Cody wins. I hope it is for the title and Cody beats the final boss. And then maybe the final boss shakes his hand at the end. Roman's music hits. Roman comes down with the Bloodline because the Bloodline storyline is not fully done yet. Just Roman's championship run. 1,316 days, and to be exact. Him and Gunther, probably the two greatest title runs in WWE history. Now, Gunther did defend it way more than Roman, but Roman has his issues with the leukemia. For those who think that his leukemia is back, it's not. He is still in remission. He said it in the press conference, but he is on a pill. It's like a radiation pill that he has to take. My dad was on something like that for a little while. And it's a pill that you take. Now, he takes it every day. But when you take it, it's supposed to keep you in remission. So that's what they did. But yeah, Roman is still healthy. They showed him the next day after a Raw, and he was working out. And he said, yesterday we mourned, today we're at day one. So Triple H did promise a great storyline for Roman coming back, and I believe it with Triple H. But like I said, I would love to see at SummerSlam Cody Rhodes beat The Rock. The Rock congratulating him in the ring. Roman's music hits with the Bloodline, and he comes out and starts talking smack to The Rock about The Rock being like, you can't be the final boss and be nice to the guy, and how you gonna be nice to somebody who treated our family like that, and blah blah blah. And then that leads to Roman and The Rock at WrestleMania. That would be how you do it. And that would be a great main event. So we'll see what happens. But we did have a lot of good stuff happen on Raw the Monday after WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre ended up losing in a 4-pack match, Fatal 4-Way, to see who would be the first one to face Damian Priest. Shout out to R-Truth, whose cousin had a stroke the night of WrestleMania and was in the hospital. Obviously, I think he's okay. R-Truth posted a picture at the hospital with him. He had him with the tag team belt, but I guess he was very close to him. So it's very sad. He was very close with his cousin. So let's move on to this list that I found. Before we go into the entertainment part, we are already almost an hour in. Actually, we are an hour into the show. It's been a great show talking about football and WrestleMania, but we do have some entertainment stuff to cover really quick. But I want to do this list. Bleacher Report ranked the top 50 greatest WWE superstars of all time. I'm only going to do the top 20 with it because people are going to laugh at this. I don't understand how and who ranked this list. And maybe some people would understand, maybe some people agree. But here it is. Number 20, CM Punk. Number 19, Randy Orton. Number 18, Eddie Guerrero. Number 17, Brock Lesnar. Number 16, Chris Jericho. Number 15, Mick Foley. Number 14, Andre the Giant. I wouldn't even put Andre in the top 20 of mine, but that's me. Roman Reigns, number 13. Number 12, Rey Mysterio. Number 11, Kurt Angle. Now, here's where it gets me, the top 10. Number 10, Hulk Hogan. You're telling me the guy that brought you what wrestling is today. Okay? You could say it was the Attitude Era. That's what catapulted it. Hulk Hogan started it. Entertainment and wrestling would never have been a thing had Hulk Hogan not done it. Wrestlers as actors would have never happened if Hulk Hogan didn't do it first. So for people to honestly think that Hulk Hogan should be number 10 is laughable. Number 9, Roddy Piper. Would anybody put Piper in their top 10? Was he good on the mic? Yes. Was he a good wrestler? Yeah. Was he worthy of a top 10? No. Top 30? Yes. Maybe even top 20. But definitely not number 9. Number 8, Shawn Michaels. Number 7, The Rock. Number 6, Bruno Sammartino. Number 5, John Cena. Number 4, The Undertaker. Number 3, Macho Man Randy Savage. Number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And number 1, Bret the Hitman Hart. You gotta be kidding me. Who's putting Bret Hart as their number 1 wrestler of all time? 50 greatest. Who? I like to meet this person and just laugh at them. Like, you're telling me that you think Bret Hart was better than The Rock? The Undertaker? Shawn Michaels even? Where's Triple H? He's not even in the top 20. And I'm not even talking about what Triple H has done lately as the leader of wrestling. I'm talking about him in the ring. How's he not here? This list is ridiculous. To anybody listening right now, let me know who your top 5 are. But this list is total just garbage. Like, yeah, that's all I can say. I had to read it on air because I'm sure there's people laughing. I mean, you might agree with a few. I put CM Punk obviously top 20. I wouldn't put him in my top 10. Maybe probably in my top 15. Roman Reigns definitely after the run he just had. You can't not put him in your top at least 15. But Hogan at 10. Roddy Piper. How did he even get in the top 10? Macho Man at number 3. Bret Hart at number 1. I can see Stone Cold at number 1 or number 2. Hulk Hogan should be at least top 5. John Cena, The Rock, Triple H should be somewhere in the top 10. You could take Roddy Piper out and put Triple H in there. You know, I mean, the fact that he's not in there is comical to me. So, I just don't understand that. But, like I said, we'll see what happens. But this is the Bleacher Report's top 50 greatest WWE superstars of all time. It's laughable at best. I would never do it. Maybe, you know what? Next week, I'll do my top 20 list, and we'll compare. But yeah, let's go into entertainment now. We're done with sports. It was a great week in sports, but let's move on. Let's do that. Unless you're, obviously you big country music fans out there and people who don't like wrestling, you probably saw the CMT Music Awards were on over the weekend. There was another big event called WrestleMania. So for some of you women who don't like wrestling, you were probably watching the CMT Music Awards. And here are the full list of winners from every category. So let's kick it off with Video of the Year. Jelly Roll, Need a Favor was the winner of that. Beat out some good people. Zach Bryan was on the list. Lainey Wilson, Kelsey Ballerini, Casey Musgraves, Darius Rucker, Hardy. I mean, there's some good lists of people on this one. But they voted and they won. Female Video of the Year, Lainey Wilson with Watermelon Moonshine. Let's see. Male Video of the Year went to Jelly Roll with Need a Favor. He beat out Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen. So that's pretty crazy. Let's see. Duo or Group Video of the Year was Dan and Shay with Save Me the Trouble. Collaborative Video of the Year went to Carly Pierce featuring Chris Stapleton for We Don't Fight Anymore. That's a good thing. Breakthrough Female Video of the Year, presented by Walt Disney World, went to Ashley Cook, Your Place. That doesn't sound like a friendly Disney type song, so I don't know about that one. Breakthrough Male Video of the Year, presented by Walt Disney World, went to Warren Zeters for Pretty Little Poison. Let's see. CMT Performance of the Year went to Jelly Roll with Need a Favor from 2023 CMT Music Awards. Let's see, what else? Any other good awards on here? Going through the list. Sometimes the stuff takes too long to get. Okay, CMT Digital First Performance of the Year went to Scott McCreery for It Matters to Her. And I believe that's it. That's a short list of winners. But then again, a lot of these award shows have more performances now than they do that. So that was your CMT Music Awards. There's no award shows coming up this weekend that I know of. If there is, I'll have a list of winners for that next week, but there's nothing right now. So let's go into the 10 box office bombs that became cult classics. And you're going to know a lot of these because obviously cult classic means a movie that everybody loves and they watch over and over again. I have some that I could watch like 50 million times. My wife always tells me, like, you always watch the same movies. Because I love these movies. They're good. And so I love them. And I'll watch them over and over again. But here's the top 10 box office bombs. So here's the thing. What a lot of people don't understand about box office movies, just because it doesn't do good in the movie theater doesn't make it a bad movie. Some people watch them when they come on video. Back in the day it was VHS. Then DVD, now it's streaming services and DVDs, and Blu-ray and all that, but, you know, like, some people don't like to watch them in the theater, so just because it doesn't do great in the theater doesn't mean that it's not going to do good, anywhere else. So here's 10 box office bombs that are now considered classics. Let's start out with the movie Tron. That it comes in, it's not really a top 10 list, it's more just like a list of 10 movies. So Tron, it says that's an undeniable classic. That's a good one. I like that. Starship Troopers. See, a lot of these movies you'll look at and say, man, it must have done really bad in the box office. It probably did. They said it landed with a thud and barely managed to break even on its $100 million budget. So yeah, that's not good. And the movie Tron, do they have how much it made? See, they should, but they don't. They don't have much of how much it made in the theaters. They just say that it bombed. But if it does, I'll tell you what it is. Hocus Pocus just did a sequel to it on Disney Plus. People love Hocus Pocus. That's a cult classic. Every single Halloween, people want to watch it. It's one of the top 5 movies that people watch every Halloween. With Sarah Jessica Parker, Bette Midler, and Kathy Najimy. The first one did really bad in the movie theater, but people loved it on video. People loved it on DVD. They love it on streaming, and so much that they made a sequel, 20-some years later, 30-some years later, with the same cast, and that one did great too. They're making a third one. So don't think because your movie does bad in the movie theater that it's not going to become a classic 10, 20 years down the road. Children of Men. I've never seen this one. May have to watch it now just to see why it's such a cult classic. I don't know. Doesn't say how much it did. The Thing with Kurt Russell. The Thing, I love that movie. I don't watch it religiously, but once in a while if there's nothing on, I will. Clue, the movie based off the board game. It did really bad in the movies, which I figured it would. But it did good when it came out later. It came out in 1985. Christopher Lloyd, Madeline Kahn, Martin Mull, Michael McKeenan, and Tim Curry were in it. And, I mean, when you look at a cast like that, you would think, how did it bomb? It's because of what it was about. But, at the same time, yeah. I mean, people love it now. Treasure Planet. It was a Disney movie in 2002. Did really bad in the theater, but at the same time, it did good now. People love to watch it streaming and all that. So, yeah. Another movie, The Quick and the Dead, with Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, plus an unknown Russell Crowe and a babyface Leonardo DiCaprio. You would think with a cast like that, how would it bomb? It just did bad in the theaters, but it did good. Sharon Stone looks really hot in the picture in this article, so I'm good with it. But yeah, Event Horizon, that's another one that did really bad in the theater, and it's good now. The Iron Giant, another box office bomb. It was a cartoon, did good when it came out later. And that's it. But those were cult classics that were bad at the theater, but did good later on in life. And so make sure you go see those movies, because they're really good. So now we're going to move on to, let's see what the box office was for last weekend. Alright, so here we go. Last week at the box office, April 5th through the 7th. Let's see what movies did great and which ones didn't. Number 10 was Wicked Little Letters. That movie's been out 26 weeks already. Did $1.3 million last weekend. And total gross for the movie so far is Wait, hold on. That can't be right. Hold on. There's no way. Oh, last week it came in 26th. Wow. That's horrible. But yeah. And it says it only did 1.4 million total gross. That doesn't sound right. Well, I guess last week it did really, really bad. Did less than $1 million. It did $1.3 million this week, and last week it must have did really bad. So yeah. Yep, that's how bad it did last week at number 26. Number 9 was the movie Immaculate. Came in number 5 last week, 1.3 million last week, and a total of 14.1 million so far. Let's see. Number 8 was Arthur the King. Last week it was number 6. This week at number 8, it did 1.5 million. And total gross so far is $22 million. Someone Like You was not out last week. It was its first week at the box office. Came in number 7. Did $2.9 million. Number 6, which was number 3 last week, was Dune Part 2. Did another $7.4 million, though. Not bad. So total gross so far, $265 million on the box office. Number 5 this week, which was number 4 last week, was Kung Fu Panda. Did $7.7 million last week for a total gross of $165.9 million so far at the box office. Number 4 this week was this was the first week of it, didn't have anything last week. The First Omen. And that did $8.3 million in its opening weekend, coming in at number 4. Number 3 last week was number 2 the week before. It was Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. It did $9 million last weekend at the box office for a total of $88.8 million. Still hasn't broke the $100 million range yet. It's been out, 3 or 4 weeks already? Does it say when it came out? Yeah, 3 weeks ago. Still hasn't broken $100 million. I mean, because if you look at some of these other movies that have done high grossing, Dune Part 2 has done $265 million already in 6 weeks. So, you would think that it would do better. Kung Fu Panda, which is at $165 million, has only been out 5 weeks. So for Ghostbusters to do those kind of numbers in 5 or 6 weeks, it's not going to happen. They're already going into week 4, and they're only at 88. I mean, 88's not horrible. But it just makes you wonder if they do another Ghostbusters, maybe do it straight to like a Netflix or to like HBO Max and try it streaming. Because I'll tell you now, I didn't get to the movies to see it, and I'm just waiting out till it streams because it's already been out for 3 weeks. If it just keeps doing $9 million a week, they're just going to eventually release it to streaming sooner than later. Number 2 is a new movie that just came out last week. It was called Monkey Man. And that did $10.1 million in its opening weekend. And number 1 at the box office, which was number 1 the week before, was Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. Did $31 million last week for a grand total of $134 million in 2 weeks. So see, that's what I'm saying. If you look at this, Ghostbusters in 3 weeks did 88.8 million. Kong and Godzilla has done 134 million in 2 weeks. In 5 weeks, Kung Fu Panda 4 did 165, and Dune Part 2 did 265 in 6 weeks. Godzilla is on track to beat out possibly those 2 movies by week 5 and 6. So I'm just saying, like, it can happen. It's not that people aren't going to the movies; they're just picky on which movies they're going to see. So if I'm Ghostbusters, if I'm the Reitman boy, I would seriously think about possibly releasing it straight to streaming for number 4 if they're going to do it. I think they'll make more money that way. Because obviously people want to see Ghostbusters, but not enough want to see it. So yeah, if I'm them, that's how I would do it for Ghostbusters 4. Because you know they're going to do another one. Or actually it would be considered Ghostbusters 3, I guess. Because number 2 was this one. But yeah, they're talking about another one. So, but if you're going to do it, maybe do it streaming. Or maybe he's just at the point where he knows it made money. Here, let's see what the total was to make it. And then we'll know if it's doing anything good. Let's see. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. Let's see. Budget. So let's see. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire budget. So let's see what it costs to make. So it costs $100 million. Says the writer of Ghostbusters Afterlife, the sequel cost $100 million. Oh, that was Afterlife. Hold on. That was the first one. Okay, so let's see. See if it says anywhere in here. I'm looking to see. I don't see necessarily how much it did. Yeah, I'm not seeing gross. If I can find it this week, I'll let people know when we talk about it next week. But yeah, honestly, I think that's a little not great and stuff right now. I think that you want it a little more. But like I said, we'll see. And if they do it straight to streaming. I don't think they're going to give up on the movies. I think they're just going to try to make the next one better than the second one. First one was really good. People loved it. So, it made a lot of money at the box office. But I think it was a nostalgia thing. I think everybody was excited to see the original Ghostbusters come back in it. And they were excited for Paul Rudd. And they were excited for the kids that were in it. But then it did good. But were people really wanting to see the sequel in the theater? That's what I'm wondering. A lot of people love the streaming stuff. I do for some movies. I'd rather watch it when it streams. But yeah, so let's go into our next topic, which is 30 most watched finales and how much they made. Let's go into that now, too. Alright, so here we go. These are the shows, and these are series finales. It says season, but I think they meant series because they're talking about the last episode ever of the show and what it did. So here we go. Here is the top 30 TV shows and where their series finale, how many people watched it. Okay, so the show 24, after 8 seasons ended, with 9.31 million viewers for their finale. Show Twin Peaks, their finale did 10.4 million. Let's see. Sex and the City on HBO. The original show did 10.62 million viewers when the show ended. The final episode was February 22nd, 2004, and drew an audience of $10.62 million. They made 2 movies and now a prequel series to it. Breaking Bad, the final episode did 10.8 million. That was a good show. Desperate Housewives did 11.12 million viewers in its last episode. That's sad, though. Desperate Housewives was a good show. Let's see. Without a Trace, their finale did 11.21 million. Let's see. Ally McBeal, her final show did 11.51 million viewers. That was a good show with Ally McBeal. I loved it. The Sopranos. This broke my heart. I love The Sopranos. The ending of it, everybody still wonders. Did James Gandolfini get shot and killed? Or was that just the end and he just survived? Nobody will ever know. It's always going to be up for debate. and we'll never have another one because James Gandolfini passed away in real life. They did do a movie, a prequel about how he became the Tony Soprano everybody saw. That was great. But The Sopranos did $11.9 million in its finale episode. CSI Crime Scene Investigation, their final season, did $12.22 million. Or not $million, I mean million viewers. How I Met Your Mother's finale in 2000, when was that? 2014, did 13.13 million viewers in the finale. TV show The X-Files on Fox, great show. Mulder and Scully did 13.25 million in their finale episode. That's amazing. Their finale was May 19th of 2002. The TV show Lost was such a good movie that in the movie This Is 40, the daughter was obsessed with the show Lost. It did 13.57 million viewers when it ended. And it wasn't even on that long. Their last episode was May 23rd of 2010. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, right before it switched over to Jimmy Fallon. His last episode, his finale, did 14.6 million viewers. That's crazy. It says when Leno finally stepped down on February 6, 2014, after what he emotionally declared the greatest 22 years of my life, 14.6 million tuned in. Jimmy Fallon took over after. The TV show Dynasty. Who Shot JR? Oh, no, that was Dallas. Dynasty, I love this show, though, too. I used to watch it. Their finale did 14.7 million viewers. That's amazing. Let's see. Kate and Allie, back in the 80s, did 14.9 million in their last episode. That was May 22nd of 1989. In the Heat of the Night, with Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker himself, and Sidney Poitier, that was the original movie, was what the show was based after, did 15 million viewers in its last episode, which was May of 1995. Married with Children, Mr. Al Bundy, the birthday boy today. His finale of Married with Children did 15.2 million viewers. It said 15.2 million tuned in for the final episode on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo of 1997. It says, although curiously, the true series finale came a month later with the premiere of a previously unaired episode. Perfect Strangers, Larry and Belky, one of my favorite shows of all time. The finale of that did 15.8 million. I think people were excited to see how it would end. And that was August 6th of 1993. That's a weird time to conclude a series. NYPD Blue did 16.1 million in its finale, one of my other favorite shows. Its series finale was March 1st of 2005. Another favorite of my dad's, Miami Vice, did 16.1 million viewers in its finale, Don Johnson. They even made a movie about it later on. Here's one of my favorite shows of all time. I still watch it to this day, and I'm glad it ended the way it did. ER, the TV show ER, which was loosely based on Cook County General Hospital in Chicago, Illinois, did 16.4 million viewers in its finale. That show had a lot of great moments. Anthony Edwards, when he died as Dr. Green of a brain tumor, great playing by him. And then, of course, the last episode with George Clooney, Juliana Margulies went to be with him at the end, and she showed up at his dock, and there he was, and they kissed, and that was it. So yeah, that last episode of that was April 2nd of 2009. The Oprah Winfrey Show, when it ended, 16.4 million viewers. May 25th, 2011. Murder, She Wrote, one of my mom's favorite shows, 16.5 million. Angela Lansbury was awesome. Let's see, Roseanne, the original Roseanne show. Awesome show. 16.6 million people were there to watch her finale on May 20th of 1997. Beverly Hills 90210, even though it lost original stars like Shannon Doherty and Jason Priestley, by the end of the series, it still did 16.8 million people at the end. Their finale was May 17th of 2000. Murphy Brown, another great show with Candace Bergen, Oh, a bird just flew in my garage while I'm doing a show. 17.5 million viewers to end the show. Awesome show. Major Dad, another one of my favorites. 17.9 million watched as it ended on May 17, 1993. Jake and the Fat Man, I don't even remember this show, but it ended in 1992 with 18.1 million viewers. Never heard of that show. The Facts of Life, another one of my favorites. 18.2 million in their finale. Spin-off of Different Strokes with Mrs. Garrett. It ended on May 7th, 1988. Big Bang Theory. A lot of people love this show. Mia Bialik was in it. Everybody loves Sheldon, one of my favorites. Johnny Galecki in it. 18.5 million people watched the finale of that show on May 16th of 2019. Will and Grace, my two favorite gay characters of all time. Will and, of course, Jack. 18.6 million people watched the finale of it. Let's see. Matlock, 18.7 million. One of my favorites. I used to love that show with my dad and mom. Ended on May 7th of 1995. 18.7 million. Designing Women did 18.8 million when it ended. That show ended on May 24th of 1993. Bonanza. Everybody loves Bonanza. 19.3 million viewers watched the finale. Game of Thrones, same thing, 19.3 million when the series finale was over on that on May 19th of 2019. Knots Landing, one of my favorites back in the 80s. 19.6 million people watched the finale of that. A lot of big names came out of that show. Let's see. Mad About You, one of my favorites. I even love the revival. If you haven't seen the revival, it was on some weird streaming service. I ended up getting it just for that and then getting rid of it. But yeah, I love it. Mad About You did 19.8 million. One of the biggest sitcom endings of all time. Great, great show. Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. Here's one of my favorites. I actually just watched the finale the other day for the 1 millionth time. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air did 19.9 million. Super catapulted Will Smith to superstardom. Let's see. Who's the Boss? One of my favorites, Tony Danza. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. He did 20.5 million as we cried when the show ended. Let's see. Quantum Leap did 20.6 million in its finale. They tried to revive it. Didn't really work out too well. Wonder Years did 21 million. I'm going to watch the ending of that. I love it. Winnie and Kevin, best story. Second next story was Corey and Topanga. But yeah, that show did 21 million viewers in its finale. Crazy. Growing Pains, one of my favorites, Alan Thicke. 21.1 million watched the finale of that one. Mary Tyler Moore did 21.2 million in her finale. Let's see. The show Elf, one of my favorite aliens, 21.7 million. LA Law did 22.1. That was a decent show. MacGyver, one of my favorites. I used to watch this as a kid. 22.3 million. I love MacGyver. He always thought of a cool way to do stuff. MacGruber, too. St. Elsewhere, that's another finale that did 22.5 million. Another hospital drama. Full House, everybody remembers Full House. Did a huge audience of 24.3 million viewers for their finale. Awesome. Let's see, Night Court, which they revived this show, and it's great. I love the new one. Did 24.6 million in its finale episode. Golden Girls, love this show. Sad that all 4 of them are now gone. 27.2 million watched the finale episode of that. Let's see, the Newhart Show, Bob Newhart. Let's see, 29.5 million watched it. Let's see, Happy Days, one of my favorites, 30.5 million watched the finale episode. Joni and Chachi, looks like they got married. The Wedding of Joni and Chachi did 30.5 million viewers on July 19th of 1984. Gunsmoke, 30.9 million viewers in its finale. That was a show my dad loved. Star Trek The Next Generation did good at 31 million in its finale. Spin City Season 4 did 32.76 million. Wow. Oh, okay. It says, don't get mad. May 24th, 2000, Goodbye wasn't technically Spin City's finale. It was, however, the final bow of Michael J. Fox, who retired due to his Parkinson's. So it wasn't the finale of the show, it was the finale of Michael J. Fox. And that did 32.76 million viewers. I remember that. Everybody Loves Raymond. I love the finale. That's the one where he had the surgery and almost died. And Deborah cried and everybody went crazy. That did 32.9 million viewers in its finale. Dallas, Who Shot JR? This is the one. 33.3 million viewers for that one. And their series finale, that was amazing. Frasier, 33.7. If you have not checked out the new Frasier, not spinoff, but what do they call it? Revival, go check it out. It's amazing. Me and my wife love it. We hope they make a second season of it. Let's see. That did 33.7 million. Home Improvement, one of my other favorite shows on TV. Tim Allen, Tim the Toolman Taylor. 35.5 million people watch the Taylors and their series. Let's see. Family Ties, 36.3 million. Great show. Great show. Let's go into the next one. All in the Family. Love that show. 40.2 million viewers. Crazy. Let's see. The Cosby Show. Another one of my favorites. 44.4 million watched it. The Fugitive. The TV show. 45.9 million people watched that. Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Did more than Jay Leno did. 50 million people watched Johnny Carson's last episode of his show. Magnum P.I. Tom Selleck show did 50.7 million to end it. I used to love that show as a kid too. My favorite show of all time, Friends, did 52.5 million viewers for its last episode, where it saw Ross and Rachel get back together, Monica and Chandler move away, and then Joey had a spinoff where he moved to California. That one didn't do well. Seinfeld, though, not much is going to top Seinfeld. 76.3 million viewers to end that show. That's amazing. Now, I'm saying in modern day, there were a few that did better. Roots, 76.7 million people watched it. But that was back in 1977. Cheers in the 80s did 84.4 million viewers for its finale, and that was in 1993. MASH will always be the number one. MASH did 105.9 million viewers for its finale. Alright, last thing we're going to talk about. If you haven't seen any of those finales, definitely go check them out, because a lot of them are good. I've seen almost every finale of almost every show on there. Not all of them, though. But let's go over the top spots to go on vacation this summer with your families. Let's do that really quick here. So we're going to do the top 10 of that. Alright, here we go. So these are the top places to go on vacation with your family. And this one is beaches. Okay, this is Turks and Caicos. It says for kids, beaches, Turks and Caicos, all inclusive, is a dream come true. This resort is not only One Grace Bay, the island's top beach, but it also has on-site water park. After a morning of using the water slides and lazy pools, kids can enjoy arts and crafts, play in the Xbox Play Lounge, and try other fun activities. Parents will surely appreciate the Red Lane Spa and On the Beach Rum Bar. So definitely check that place out if you can. This is places to go as families. Number 9 is the Heavenly Mountain Resort in California, Nevada. Heavenly is a Sierra Nevada, is one of Lake Tahoe's top resorts for adventure. Ride the gondola to take in the gorgeous lake and mountain views, zip line over the treetops, and hike or bike along lakeside trails. When the snow starts falling, you can hit the slopes. There are trails for all levels, including a ski school. That comes in at number 9. Number 8 Is Disney Cruise Line Caribbean? Why not take the family on a cruise? Disney Cruise Line has Bahamas sailings that include a stop on Castaway Cay, the line's private island, and 4 ships also visit the New England coast, Alaska, the Mediterranean, and other destinations. On board, expect water slides, ice cream parlors, and meet and greets with characters ranging from Captain America to Frozen's Elsa. Number 7 is Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. Delaware's beach is a super fun vacation spot for families. After a swim in the Atlantic, the kids can hit the water slides and jungle gyms, the state's largest water park. Be sure to take a stroll along the mile-long boardwalk, stopping for cotton candy, fudge, and other treats. Let's see. Number 6 for families is Vail, Colorado. It's 100 miles west of Denver. You can hit the slopes on Vail Mountain during the winter. Top-notch ski school for kids. And during the non-winter months, take a gondola up the mountain for jaw-dropping mountain views. You can also try adventures like rope courses and zip lines. Number 5 is Universal Orlando. Of course, a Universal week includes Harry Potter fans can go on the two wow-worthy Hogwarts theme parks. Take the simulation ride for Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, or you can go to Volcano Bay. You can do anything you want. Take the kids to Universal Orlando. Let's see. Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania comes in number 4. Who doesn't love chocolate? See how the sweet stuff is made and try a few samples. In Hershey Park's Chocolate World, it's amusement park rides for all ages, but thrill seekers will love the theme park's many roller coasters, including ones with names like Sidewinder and Sky Rush. So check out Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Number 3, New York City in New York. With museums galore in New York City, it'll be hard to choose, but at the top of your list should be the crowd-pleasing American Museum of Natural History, where the little ones can check out the massive dinosaur skeletons. You can also walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, go on Circle Line sightseeing cruise, and take a ferry over to Governor's Island. You can also check out the Jersey Shore Boardwalk and see where the Jersey Shore cast was from if you just go over to Jersey from there. Number 2, JJJ Wilderness Ranch in Montana. It says for a different type of family vacation, head out west to JJJ Wilderness Ranch in Augusta, Montana. Find your inner cowboy or cowgirl at this all-inclusive dude ranch. Spend your days horseback riding, fly fishing, and taking archer and skeet shooting lessons. In the evening, after a big cookout, gather around the campfire for storytelling and s'mores. Let's see. At number 1 for families is Colonial Williamsburg in Virginia, which is funny because that's where Ross's lesbian ex-wife, and her girlfriend went in the show. They went to Colonial Williamsburg. It says, brush up on your American history, a 301-acre living history museum in this 18th century city, complete with actors in period costume. You can visit the blacksmith shop or the apothecary, hear revolutionary talk in historic Raleigh Tavern, and take a horse-drawn carriage along bustling Duke of Gloucester Street. You can even meet George Washington himself. So that's the top 10 places to take the kids this summer on vacation. I'll have more top 10 lists next week, and of course we'll go over some more stuff for the NFL draft. We'll talk some more movie stuff, and we'll have some fun. Until then, though, enjoy this weekend. If you're in the Midwest, especially Chicago, we're looking at 60s and 70s this week, so enjoy that time. Start getting your summer stuff ready because summer is right around the corner. Until then, I will see everybody next week. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and don't die. I'll see everybody next week.